We are entering the final chapters of the series. We need to identify what's the core value of all these journeys we take, encapsulate the abundance of Bandung into 3 places that spread throughout the territory. We might find one here on our final and most distant trip. As we try to identify which places will be our last chapter, Mr. Hendar from Diskominfo, a place that accepts our internship, advises us to go to Cipelah to highlight aren sugar production. Cipelah is one, if not the only places in Bandung Kabupaten that produce gula aren. Gula aren or aren sugar is a natural sugar derived from the aren tree. The entire process is natural without preservatives. Even the brown color is real. It's known in Indonesia as a food ingredient, a sweetener, even eat it right away. After struggling to find an informant, we are delightfully accepted by Pak RW Tardi, who reside literally beside Curug Tilu Cipelah, a less known but getting marketed new waterfall destination. Our first visit there is welcomed with such warmth, and he agreed to assist us to highlight the process. And after a night of a sleepover, we met with Kang Eman, actually a brother of Mr. Tardi, who will guide us along the process. We started as early as 6 a.m., piercing through less than 15 Celsius to nearby slippery woods. It's hard, especially for Kang Eman, who need to carry several bamboo tubes required for harvesting the aren water from the tree. This pace is called nyadap. Luckily, Kang Eman doesn't have to wait. His workflow is to put the bamboo tube in the afternoon, harvest it in the morning, and reset the empty bamboo tube. So essentially, it's just harvesting or taking the result, but still, he sometimes need to climb it so highly. Now, his wife is taking over, as Mr. Eman rests and drinks his coffee. This aren water, known as lahang, which sold too as a vintage drink in part of Bandung city, but Pak Tadi revealed that most of it are fake.
Di pasar mah buatan.
Oh.
Malah naon dah?
Manis.
Manis mah sareng naon?
Manis cuy.
As the real lahang can sustain even hours in the open air without a very distinct treatment involving cinnamon and other herbs. And I can agree that this one taste is really different. The first time in my life. The lahang water is gathered to a giant steel wok to be heated traditionally in a fireplace. This process will take 4 hours. As we witness how magically the lahang changes color to the singular brown color we often see, this boiling lahang form is called wedang. Mr. Tardi said it's a God will that the colors change, as I personally asked and confused of how these clear waters change color, let alone vaporize into nothingness. We occasionally reignite the fire manually with blowing air, since the blower is broken at the time. Once a foam appeared, we were startled that Mr. Eman suddenly and briefly put out all the wedang, set it back to the bamboo tube, then put it back again to the wok. Apparently, this very crucial paste called muput that is integral to make the wedang not going stale. We've been told to take a break and hosted a much delightful Sundanese breakfast.
Isin Pak.
Mr. Eman also shares his experience with us meanwhile. He briefly explained how a sudden change in climate actually destroys the quality of the sugar, and we can decide that it's the global warming the culprit.
Upami hujan, awan.
Oh, upami hujan awan.
Upami badai hujan, sampai upami badai halodo, itu mas. Dinten hujan 2 halodo, 2 dinten halodo. dua dinten hujan, dua dinten ada doa. Awon
Oh.
kena cai kaum.
Tapi mun halodo mun garing teu garing eta. Teu.
Itu langsung saya.
Langsung saya.
Iya, langsung saya.
Berarti awal nanti ku perubahan cuaca nu tentunya kan namanya teu jelas.
Iya, gitu.
After the break, Mr. Emma's wife continued the work. As the wedang thickened, which the form called kumayot, taken from Sundanese word gayot, means dangling like a bag. Apparently, it is matters of minutes until it finishes. Then, she took out the mold out of nowhere. Turns out it needed to be put somewhere humid and kept wet to prevent the iron sugar to stick with it. Surprisingly, the molding paste took almost no time as it hardened right away, and the iron sugar is ready to use. Mr. Eman is just a family. There's a bunch of other families doing similar expertise, and this sugar is gathered to Mr. Tardy as the leader and the marketer. Then he sold it to Ciwidey each week, then shares the revenue. What tops it all is they end up giving these sugars to us, even when I settle to buy it, because essentially it's their primary source of income, and it's such an unbelievable level of kindness we are experiencing there. It's like a dream. What's also like a dream is the scenery you could witness here. From the not so known Curug Tilu Cipelah, or the occasionally epic hazy landscape you can literally see at the side of the road after raining. Like other destinations, Curug Tilu Cipelah took hits as the pandemic crisis. Some of the place and the facilities is left untreated, but Mr. Tardy got plans to reinstate it again. As of now, the cost to enter here is seikhlasnya, or pay as you like. Mr. Tardy opened a warung here, so you can rest a bit and have a snack. But the real warmth, the real sweetness, apparently we realize that it's found from the smiles and the hospitality these people provide, which turned out we felt all the way since the beginning. That Kang Isan willing to allocate his days to explain his technique, Mr. Didi and people around Warung Bemo welcome us, even though we didn't come in a big group or order catering, and indeed everyone here at Cipelah. These are the kindness that two form in another sweetness and warmth. Finally, I can decide what is the silver lining behind all of this. It's a sincere connection, it's kindness, that eventually helps us forge something we took pride in, whether it's a blade, sugar, or repurposing vintage things, and the plethora of diversity in Bandung. And this diversity is our strength. Our other strength is compassion to harness and respect the nature that God entrusted us to protect. The land poetically known created when God was smiling. But above everything, is filled with our sincerity to connect, to help each other profoundly. That ultimately Bandung is known for its kindness, welcoming, and hospitality nature. This is Bandung Kabupaten.